What have the locusts eaten in your life? This is our midweek refuel video devotion for June 13th, 2024. Here at Redeemer, we've begun a new sermon and life group series called Majoring in the Minors. It's all about the minor prophets in the Old Testament. And we might think of these as old dusty books from more than 2,500 years ago that really have nothing to do with us. But au contraire, there's much we can learn from these old dusty books for our contemporary life of faith. This last Sunday we began with Joel, and each week during this series I'll take another verse that I didn't cover on Sunday from that prophet and put it to use in these midweek refuels. In Joel chapter 2, verse 25, we read, "I will repay you for the years the locusts have eaten. The great locust and the young locust, the other locusts and the locust swarm, my great army that I sent among you." So earlier on in Joel, there's this scene where this locust army invades Judah. Now, I think what Joel is actually saying that there was a locust plague, but I think he also uses it as a metaphor for these other countries that would come and desolate and desecrate the land of Judah. But then in Joel 2:25, this verse I just read, there's a word of profound assurance from God to his people that God will restore his people and all that they went through following this period of great loss and devastation. So this verse resonates with our current situation, doesn't it? I think back to the years of the COVID-19 pandemic in particular. You could say that that pandemic was sort of a more modern-day swarm of locusts, bringing about loss, disruption, and profound challenges, even loss of life. During the pandemic, we faced things that were, as we said, unprecedented. Economic hardship, physical illness, social isolation, and a significant increase in mental health issues. Many people experience anxiety and depression and a sense of hopelessness as they were separated from friends and family and as the world grappled with this crisis. These years that the locusts have eaten may feel irredeemable, but Joel's message brings a word of hope and restoration. In Joel 2, God promises to repay and restore those lost years. That old promise extends to today. While we cannot erase the hardships we have faced in our lives, be it the pandemic and all of its consequences, or any other locust-eating trial or trouble we've been through, where we feel like those locusts of life has stolen things from us, here's the good news. We can trust God's ability to bring about renewal and healing in our lives. Can you identify those things which maybe the locusts have eaten in your life? Times of difficulty, of doubt, loss, maybe a lost relationship, or lost finances, or lost love, or lost dreams of your life, or lost health. In Romans 8:28 we read, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." In other words, even in the most difficult times of life, when it seems that locusts have eaten things away from us, God can still work good in all of that. Now, the restoration that God gives may not mean a return to the way things were, but maybe a transformation that brings growth or new opportunities and learnings or even a deeper faith. Now, one of the things we have experienced in our world is a tremendous spike in mental illness since the COVID pandemic. And this offers a significant challenge to many, even within our church family and even in our church staff. Yet in the midst of all of these trials and troubles, God offers his healing presence. In Psalm 34, we read, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." God's promise to restore the years lost to the locusts includes emotional and mental healing. We are encouraged to seek his presence, to lean into his everlasting arms, and to find solace in his unfailing love. I love those old words of Corrie ten Boom. She's such a quotable woman. They ring true. There is no pit so deep. There is no pit so deep that God's love is not deeper still. And of course, Joel's prophecy that God would restore what has been eaten by the locusts points us to the restoration that God will bring about at the end of time. In Revelation 21:4, this vision of the future is captured like this: "In that day he will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things has passed away." This promise reassures us of the restoration where he will make everything new in the culmination of his eternal kingdom, when suffering will cease and perfect peace will reign. A.W. Tozer, you know I love him, he said, "The faith that gets us through is a faith that can be tried and proven true in the fires of adversity." This profound truth speaks to the reality that our deepest trials often precede our greatest learnings and even greater blessings. The years of struggle can give way to years of significant spiritual growth and renewal when we place our trust in God's restorative and renewing power, as we remember always that through it all, God is good.